When citizens boarded the MV Donia Paz bound for Manila to spend the holiday in the capital city, the ship would end up crashing into an oil tanker and cause one of the worst maritime disasters in history. Originally built as a Japanese ferry in the early 1950s, she was transferred over to Sulpicia Lines in the 1980s when the company was born. She had a front superstructure forward of the bridge. However, a fire broke out there one time and then it had to be taken off. And this is the only known photo of the ship after its renovation. On December 20th, 1987, full of over 4,000 people, the ship departed Leyte in the Philippines, bound for Manila, the capital of the Philippines. At first, everyone was checked for tickets, but as the ship got more full, everyone began to get on board the ship. Which, by the way, the ship that you see in this documentary called Asia's Titanic is not actually the Donia Paz. On top of your everyday normal Filipino citizen, there were also many soldiers getting on board the ship to celebrate Christmas. After an hour of boarding, the ship departed. People on the ship could see it was not going to be a glamorous voyage with babies crying and kids running around. On top of that, the canteen was another situation because there was not enough food to feed over 4,000 people, and most decided just to go hungry in order to skip the chaos. It became night and many people had to sleep on the floor. People were looking to just take a break from the chaos and sleep. Maybe in the morning they'd reach Manila. This was, however, until the crew noticed what they thought must have been a fishing vessel as the MT Vector, an oil tanker, began steaming straight toward the Doña Paz. In fact, the wheel on the Vector was so stiff it took two people sometimes just to steer it. And even then, most of the time the ship wouldn't even respond. Finally, just as the clock struck midnight, everyone noticed the ship vibrate a lot. Those who had seen the ship knew they had collided with another vessel, and so now the ship was engulfed in flames, and immediately everyone in the bridge was dead. Meanwhile, the situation was not any better in the passenger areas, as even if you weren't burnt up, you could still die from smoke inhalation. With the situation getting desperate, many people just decided to jump into the burning water. In fact, the water that the Doña Paz had sailed into was known to be shark-infested. Even if you were in the water, a huge oil spill from the Vector had happened, and that oil spill was now catching on fire. And so basically, the water was on fire, and people were now getting burnt up. Meanwhile, if you were in the water, most couldn't swim, and so then you would have to basically pray and hope that the fire did not reach you. With the Doña Paz finally slipping under the waves, the Doña Clardo arrived at the scene to pick up most of the survivors. However, out of the 4,000 people that boarded the Doña Paz on December 20th, 1987, only 24 made it out. Out of the 24 people that boarded the Doña Paz, only 10 actually appeared in the passenger list. This confirmed Sulpicia Lines had not written down a good list of everyone on board, and therefore we cannot get an exact number of how many people were on board, but our best estimate is 4,500.
Is very difficult in the sense that you cannot easily move this or turn this left or right. Why? Because it may
I
list.
see.
No?
You're saying now that overloading may actually be a crucial thing in this.
Yes, it's a crucial thing.
What you just saw there was basically saying that overloading of the Doña Paz may have led to her not being able to turn so well that night. This is what's often agreed upon as the cause of the sinking. In total, around 4,500 died that night. However, we cannot get a good estimate, as like I said, because Sulpicia Lines did not get a good passenger list and only listed 2,000 people. However, much more bodies were found. Today, the Donia Paz lives on, and it continues to be featured in games like Stormworks Build and Rescue, which, by the way, I meant to do a video on this ship 3 months ago, but yeah, Stormworks kind of didn't update and I can't spawn missions. So yeah, this video was posted on December 20th, 2020, the anniversary of the sinking of the MV Donia Paz, the worst peacetime maritime disaster. This video is in tribute to those who died.